So today's lesson is lesson 10-7, circumference and area of circles. So go ahead and put that as your title. Put your date on the top right hand corner and make sure you write down the formulas for this one. We have 3 different examples. So find the circumference of the circle to the nearest 10th. First thing you have to understand is this line that goes from one side of the circle to the other side of the circle through the center point is called the diameter. Okay? So that's the whole diameter. And half of that diameter, that's called the radius. And you're going to need to know what a diameter is and what a radius is. And when you're finding circumference of a circle, okay, it's very important to understand that this is the formula. Circumference equals pi, which is on your calculator, but it's also known as 3.14 or 22/7 times the d, which is the diameter, 12. Okay, so we substitute those numbers in, and you have 12 pi, so you go 12 times 3.14, and you go 12 times, and you might have to hit second function pi, or just pi, and enter, and you get 37.699, and so we round that to the nearest tenth, and it's 37.7. You found the circumference, you found the perimeter of the circle. Okay, so we're doing circumference. You will also learn eventually the area of a circle, but for circumference, the distance around the circle, which is the perimeter, that's what you're working on right now. So here's another one, and now this time they only give you the radius, okay? Well, the formula was pi d, but there's another formula if you're just given the radius, and that's 2 pi r, which is basically multiplying this by 2, and then you have your diameter, and then multiplying by pi. So we substitute the numbers into the formula. Okay, 2 times pi times 7.1. And when you use your calculator, you end up with 44.6. So it's 44.6 meters. Okay, now it's your turn. Go ahead and write down the questions. Just draw the circles, put the one with the diameter, the one with the radius, that way you have one of both. Use the formulas, it's either circumference equals pi d or circumference equals 2 pi r. Go ahead and do that now and see what kind of answer you get. Pause the video, come back and check to see if you got the right answers. So the answer to A is 12.6 feet and B is 10.1 centimeters. Example number 2, a landscaper has a tree whose roots form a ball-shaped bulb with a circumference of 110 inches. Now they're giving you the letter C, the circumference, which is 110, and they want to know how wide to dig the hole. So they want to know what the diameter has to be. So you need to know the circumference of the roots of the tree, which is 110, and then you need to know the diameter to be dug. So we continue on. We're going to use this formula, circumference equals pi d, but this time we're going to substitute in for C, and we're going to use 110, okay? Pi is a number, d is what you're looking for. So what are you going to have to do? You're going to have to divide both sides by pi, and you get 110 divided by pi, and the other pi cancel each other out. So 110 divided by 3.14, or by pi on your calculator, comes out to approximately, that's what those little lines mean, approximately 35.0. So the diameter that the hole needs to be dug would be at least 35 inches in order for that tree to fit in. And you can check your solution by replacing D with 35 and see what you get. And so this is what would happen, and you get 110, which is what the circumference was. So therefore it's reasonable. Here's your turn. Go ahead and write down the question. Okay. Circular swimming pool has a circumference of 24 feet, so that's the C. And Matt must swim across the diameter of the pool, so you got to find the D, so you're going to use your formula C equals pi d. Go ahead and write this down, pause the video, work it out, make sure you understand it, and then come back and check your work. And the answer to the question is 7.6 feet, about, not exactly, about, because that's how, it's not going to give you an exact answer, okay? So find the area of the circle. So we were looking for circumference, now we're into area. Area is this blue area, it's all that blue stuff inside. They're giving you the radius, so the formula now is area equals pi r squared. The biggest problem that people make with r squared is if let's say this is the number 11, they go 11 times 2. It's not what it means. It means 11 times 11. So make sure you don't make that error, okay? If you get it wrong, that's probably the error you made. So we replace the r with 11, and it's 121. 121 times pi on your calculator, or times 3.14. If you don't have a calculator, you can do it that way. And you get approximately 380.1. Okay, here's another one. This time you have the diameter. Okay, well you can't do this one because the formula is pi r squared. So the first thing you have to do with this is divide it by 2. And you get 4.15. And you divide it by 2. And you have your r now. Because this is the diameter, remember? And the 8.3 divided by 2 is 4.15. And then you go ahead and you square 4.15 times 4.15 gives you 17.2225. All right. Multiply that by pi and you get the answer, which is approximately 54.1. So that would be the area, the inside, that's area. Okay, now it's your turn. Go ahead, solve these two problems. Finding the area of this, which has a radius of 7, and B has a diameter of 10.4. Just a helpful hint, you're gonna have to change that diameter to radius. And this is the answers that you would come up with. 153.9 for A and 84.9 for B. And that is the end of lesson 10-7.